Welcome, beautiful Sigma ladies. Never mistake silence for safety. Sometimes it's the quiet ones who hold the sharpest edges. There's something unsettling about a woman who doesn't need to prove herself, isn't there? While the world is busy screaming for attention, she's busy building empires in the shadows, unseen, unbothered, and unreadable. According to behavioral studies, people who operate best in solitude often develop an uncanny sense of emotional independence, the kind that can't be manipulated, rushed, or controlled. And that's exactly what makes Sigma females so dangerously magnetic. They don't compete, they calculate. They don't crave the spotlight, yet somehow it follows them. Their power isn't loud, it's the type that moves silently through a room and makes people straighten up without knowing why. You won't catch her chasing trends or validation. She's too busy mastering herself. And trust me, that's the one skill most people fear. So if you've ever wondered why this particular breed of woman feels so unpredictable, so unreadable, and at times almost mythical, buckle up. Because once you understand what really fuels a Sigma female, you'll never look at quiet confidence the same way again. And don't worry, she's not out to destroy anyone. Unless, of course, you mistake her kindness for weakness. Then, well, may the algorithm be ever in your favor. Number 1, their calmness is mistaken for weakness, until it's too late. Their calmness is often mistaken for weakness, until it's far too late to recover. When chaos breaks out, most people rush to react. They raise their voices, panic, or lash out to feel in control. The Sigma female doesn't. She goes quiet, and that silence isn't hesitation, it's calculation. She's assessing the battlefield, watching who loses composure first, who lies to save face, and who exposes themselves under pressure. While others burn energy trying to prove a point, she's conserving hers to make the move that actually matters. This kind of control unnerves people. They can't tell if she's unaffected or secretly plotting 10 steps ahead. And the truth is, it's usually both. She's emotionally disciplined to the point where she won't give anyone the satisfaction of seeing her flinch. That composure is her armor. It's how she maintains dominance in situations designed to shake her. The Sigma female knows that anger, fear, and panic are currency that foolish people spend too easily. She'd rather stay broke than bankrupt her peace. But here's the twist. Her calm isn't coldness. It's intelligence. She's learned that reacting gives people a map to your weaknesses, and she refuses to hand anyone that kind of access. Her silence disarms manipulators because they thrive on emotional feedback, and when they can't get it from her, they crumble. She becomes the mirror that reflects their instability back at them. And while they spiral, she's already strategizing her next step with surgical precision. When she finally moves, it's not noisy or dramatic. It's decisive. The damage comes from the contrast. 1 minute she's silent. The next, she's removed you from her life, exposed your motives, or made the choice that shifts all the power back in her direction. By the time anyone realizes what happened, she's already at peace again, calm, unbothered, and maybe even smiling a little. The danger of the Sigma female's calmness lies in its depth. It's not the calm of ignorance or fear. It's the calm of someone who's already thought through every possible outcome and knows she'll be fine regardless. You can't shake someone who's already made peace with walking away. That's why her silence terrifies people, because when she finally decides to speak or act, it's never random. It's final. Number 2, they're too self-aware to be addicted to approval. Sigma females have mastered one of the rarest human skills, the ability to exist without depending on approval. Most people are unknowingly controlled by the invisible leash of validation. They post, speak, dress, and even love in ways that keep them likable. But the Sigma female broke that conditioning early. She realized that when you need to be liked, you become easy to predict. And when you're predictable, you're easy to control. So she stopped performing for applause. She stopped needing to be understood, accepted, or praised. That was the day she became untouchable. This kind of detachment isn't arrogance, it's freedom. It's the kind of freedom that terrifies people who are used to emotional bargaining, those who weaponize disapproval to manipulate others. You can't guilt-trip a woman who doesn't measure her worth by external opinions. You can't shame her into silence or seduce her into conformity. She operates from an internal compass that doesn't swing with public opinion. When the crowd claps, she nods. When the crowd boos, she nods just the same. Either way, she keeps walking. Her self-awareness runs deep. She knows every strength, every flaw, and every insecurity she carries, which means she can't be blackmailed by them. You can't expose what she's already accepted about herself. That level of self-possession is unsettling to people who rely on emotional leverage. They can't get a reaction out of her because she's already made peace with who she is. And peace, like that, is power. What makes her truly unstoppable is how she uses that detachment. Instead of seeking approval, she seeks alignment with her values, her vision, her own standards. She's not interested in being admired, she's interested in being authentic. And authenticity, in a world obsessed with performance, looks like rebellion. When everyone else is busy asking, "Do they like me?" the Sigma female is quietly asking, "Do I respect myself right now?" That's her compass, that's her edge, and that's why no one can truly control her, because the moment she stopped needing approval, she stopped needing permission. Number 3, they have the nerve to outgrow people without guilt. Sigma females have the rare nerve to outgrow people, completely, unapologetically, and without the emotional guilt most people drown in. For them, growth isn't optional. It's survival. They understand that staying in the same emotional space just to keep others comfortable is a slow kind of self-betrayal. So when the energy stops matching, when conversations start looping, when they feel themselves shrinking to stay understood, they leave. Quietly, no fight, no grand speech, no second chances, just distance. What unsettles people most is how easily she walks away from what others would cling to. The Sigma female doesn't end connections out of bitterness. She does it out of clarity. She knows when a bond has run its course. She doesn't romanticize potential or confuse history with compatibility. While others stay because of nostalgia, she recognizes that familiarity isn't the same as growth, and staying loyal to stagnation is just another form of self-abandonment. Her detachment isn't heartless, it's evolved. She's learned that not everyone who starts with you is meant to finish with you, and that realization makes her dangerous to people who rely on emotional guilt to keep her tethered. They can cry, beg, or accuse her of being cold, but it won't change her mind. Once she mentally detaches, she's gone long before her body follows. That invisible goodbye is her signature. The Sigma female doesn't crave closure because she understands that some endings don't need an explanation. They need acceptance. Her peace is more valuable than anyone's comfort, and she's willing to be misunderstood for protecting it. That kind of emotional self-discipline is rare and intimidating. It reveals how deeply she values herself and how little she fears solitude. People who depend on her warmth often mistake her silence for cruelty, but what they're really feeling is the absence of being prioritized by someone who once saw them clearly. She doesn't destroy relationships. She simply stops feeding them when they no longer nurture her growth, and that unnerves people who thought they were irreplaceable. When a Sigma female outgrows you, there's no warning. One day she's present, attentive and supportive. The next, she's emotionally unreachable, not angry, not bitter, just gone. And that. Number 4. Their intuition borders on telepathic. Sigma females possess an intuition so sharp it almost feels supernatural, the kind that makes people uneasy without knowing why. They don't just hear what you say, they decode what you don't say. Every pause, every flicker in your tone, every micro-expression tells her something. While most people rely on words, she relies on energy, and energy never lies. That's why being dishonest around a Sigma female feels like standing under an X-ray. She may not call you out, but she's already seen straight through you. Her perception is unnervingly precise because she lives in observation, not performance. While others talk to fill silence, she listens, deeply, quietly, patiently. And in that silence, she picks up what people try hardest to hide: the discomfort in their laughter, the contradiction in their compliments, the fear behind their anger. She processes people like emotional code, reading every signal until she knows exactly who she's dealing with. By the time someone tries to manipulate her, she's already 3 steps ahead, mentally marking their patterns like data points. This intuition isn't some mystical gift, it's the product of awareness. Sigma females pay attention to details most people ignore. They notice when someone's confidence feels rehearsed, when kindness has an agenda, when attraction hides insecurity. They can sense energy shifts before conflict even begins, the way the air subtly changes when someone's intentions turn sour. That awareness allows them to respond strategically instead of emotionally. People often mistake this gift for paranoia, but it's not fear, it's accuracy. Sigma females don't guess, they know. They've seen enough human behavior to understand that words are often decoration and truth lives between the lines. That's why they're so hard to fool. They'll smile, nod, and let you talk, but deep down they've already filed you under authentic or deceptive. What makes this power dangerous is how quietly they use it. They won't expose you. They'll simply adjust, emotionally, mentally, or physically, to protect their peace. You won't even realize they've decoded you until they start creating distance. And when that happens, there's no recovering trust, because she no longer feels your energy. And once that connection dies, so does her interest. Her intuition doesn't just protect her, it governs her world, and that's what makes it terrifyingly effective. Number 5, they can walk away from what everyone else worships. Sigma females have a rare and unsettling superpower. They can walk away from what everyone else worships and do it without flinching. In a world addicted to validation, they're immune to the spell. Fame doesn't seduce them, relationships don't define them, and trends don't dictate them. Their self-worth isn't built on what they have, who they're with, or how many people are watching. It's built on an inner foundation that doesn't crack under external pressure. That's why when everyone else clings, they let go. And that level of emotional independence scares people who can't survive without attachment. The Sigma female's detachment isn't cynicism, it's clarity. She sees how easily people lose themselves trying to hold on to things that were never meant to last. She's not anti-love, anti-success, or anti-connection. She's simply not addicted to them. She enjoys deeply, but she doesn't depend. That balance makes her dangerous to anyone who tries to control her, because nothing they can offer, status, affection, money, or attention, can be used as leverage. She's not playing the same game everyone else is trapped in. This freedom gives her a different kind of glow. When she walks away from something most people would die to have, it's not out of arrogance, it's out of self-preservation. She knows the cost of peace and refuses to trade it for anything temporary, no matter how shiny it looks. People often mistake her calm detachment for coldness, but it's actually power in its purest form, the ability to stay centered in a world built on craving. What's most intimidating about her is that she doesn't need to lose everything to learn detachment. She practices it daily. She can admire success without being enslaved by it, love passionately without losing her independence, and enjoy recognition without needing it. It's this balance that makes her untouchable. Those who build their identities around attachment, around being seen, desired, or praised, can't understand her. To them, letting go looks like weakness. But for the Sigma female, it's the ultimate flex. Walking away from what others worship isn't loss to her. It's liberation. She doesn't fear endings because she's mastered the art of self-containment. And when nothing owns you, nothing can break you. Number 6, they're not competitive, they're self-evolving. Sigma females operate on a completely different frequency when it comes to ambition. They're not out here trying to outrun anyone. They're too focused on outrunning the person they were yesterday. Competition exhausts them because it feels meaningless. They know that comparison is just a distraction, dressed as motivation. While everyone else measures progress by how many people they've passed, the Sigma female measures hers by how much she's grown, healed, and mastered herself. That's why she always seems ahead, not because she's chasing, but because she's evolving in silence while everyone else is performing for attention. She's not impressed by being the best. She's obsessed with being better. Better emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially. She doesn't need someone else's failure to feel successful. Her wins are internal. Things like mastering her emotions, setting boundaries she once avoided, or saying no without guilt. Those invisible victories build the kind of confidence no external competition can touch. And that's what makes her intimidating. She's driven by self-awareness, not ego. People who thrive on rivalry often misunderstand her calm detachment. They assume she's not ambitious or assertive enough because she doesn't play their game. But in truth, she's just not interested in proving herself to people she doesn't respect. Competing requires validation from an audience. Evolving requires solitude. And solitude is her element. This mindset makes her unstoppable. You can't distract her with jealousy, gossip, or status because those things don't register as real achievements in her world. She's not motivated by envy. She's motivated by evolution. Every setback becomes self-study. Every mistake becomes data. While others spiral in comparison, she analyzes, adjusts, and upgrades. The irony is that people who try to compete with her end up competing with their own insecurities because she's not even in the race. She's too busy building herself in ways they can't see, reading, reflecting, reinventing. And by the time they realize she was never their rival, she's already moved to a level they can't reach. The Sigma female's version of success is peace, depth, and growth. She doesn't want to outshine anyone. She wants to outgrow everything that no longer aligns with her. And that's why she wins, because evolution, unlike competition, has no finish line. Number 7, they're attracted to depth, not drama. Sigma females are drawn to depth like it's oxygen. Surface-level interactions feel suffocating to them. The small talk, the fake laughter, the conversations that never touch anything real. They can sense when someone's just performing, and it instantly drains them. They crave authenticity, not attention. They want to connect with people who can talk about what drives them, what scares them, what shaped them, not just what's trending or who said what online. Drama feels like noise to them. Depth feels like home. They're not impressed by charm or popularity. Those things are easy to fake. What grabs their attention is emotional honesty. Someone who can hold a conversation that doesn't hide behind clichés or filters. They want substance, not showmanship. When most people flirt through flattery, a Sigma female connects through understanding. She listens, studies, and reads between the lines. And if she senses emotional shallowness, she quietly withdraws, because she knows she'll never thrive where everything stays on the surface. Her attraction to depth comes from how deeply she experiences life herself. She doesn't just feel, she feels hard. She analyzes emotions, motives, and meanings behind everything. That makes shallow connections unbearable, because they lack the kind of truth her mind constantly seeks. Drama, on the other hand, is chaos disguised as passion, and she sees right through it. She knows the difference between emotional intensity and emotional immaturity, and she refuses to mistake dysfunction for depth. This is why she often feels disconnected from crowds that thrive on gossip, cliques, and performative relationships. She's not rude, she's just uninterested. Her mind is too expansive to stay trapped in shallow exchanges. That's also why people either find her fascinating or intimidating. She pulls out authenticity from others, and not everyone is ready for that. When she meets someone with genuine depth, it's magnetic. The conversation flows effortlessly, the silence feels comfortable, and time disappears. That kind of connection feeds her spirit in a way that noise never can. But if she senses emotional laziness, people who avoid self-awareness, dodge truth, or thrive on chaos, she doesn't argue or judge. She simply fades out. Because for the Sigma female, drama is a distraction, but depth, that's where life actually happens. Number 8, they know how to be kind without being controllable. Sigma females have mastered the rare balance between compassion and control. They know how to be kind, deeply, genuinely kind, without letting that kindness be used as a leash. Their empathy isn't something that can be exploited because it's measured, intentional, and guarded by sharp boundaries. She'll listen to your pain, comfort you, even help you rebuild yourself. But the moment you start mistaking her empathy for permission to drain her, she'll disappear without hesitation. Her kindness isn't a weakness. It's a choice. She gives it because she wants to, not because she has to. That's what makes it powerful. When she helps someone, she does it from strength, not guilt. She doesn't need to be the savior, the fixer, or the people-pleaser. She understands that real compassion means supporting others without self-abandoning in the process. That clarity makes her kindness sharper. It cuts through manipulation like glass. People who are used to controlling through emotion don't know what to do with her. They'll try to guilt-trip her, to use tears or pity or chaos as leverage, and it won't work. She'll empathize, but she won't enable. She knows the difference between helping someone heal and helping them stay dependent. And the moment she senses that her energy is being used instead of appreciated, she'll pull it back, calmly, firmly, and permanently. What makes her especially dangerous is that she doesn't need to turn cold to protect herself. Her kindness remains intact, she just redirects it to those who deserve it. She's emotionally intelligent enough to care without being consumed, to love without losing herself. That's something most people never learn, because they confuse kindness with submission. The Sigma female doesn't. Her empathy is like a well-managed resource. She replenishes it, guards it, and spends it wisely. When she helps, it comes from authenticity, not obligation. And when she walks away, it's not cruelty, it's conservation. That's what people misunderstand. She's not heartless, she's aware. Aware of her limits, her worth, and her peace. And that awareness makes her untouchable. Because once a Sigma female learns how to be kind without being controllable, she becomes someone the manipulative can never handle, and the genuine deeply treasure. Number 9. They observe patterns before you even realize you're repeating them. Sigma females are quiet strategists disguised as calm observers. They don't just see, they study. While most people rush to react, she sits back and collects data. Every repeated excuse, every tone shift, every nervous laugh, she notices it all. She doesn't interrupt, doesn't accuse, doesn't argue. She watches, because she knows that human behavior always reveals itself through patterns, not promises. By the time others start explaining or defending themselves, she's already mapped out the entire truth. Her mind works like a silent investigator. She connects dots most people don't even realize exist. She remembers what you said 2 months ago and how it doesn't quite align with what you're saying now. She catches emotional inconsistencies. When someone's words say, "I care," but their energy says, "I don't," and she never needs to confront you loudly. Her silence is confrontation enough. It's her way of saying, "I've seen more than you think." This ability to detect patterns makes her nearly impossible to fool. Lies and manipulation don't last long around her because she doesn't respond to words. She responds to consistency. If your story, energy, or intentions start to wobble, she'll sense it before you've even noticed the shift yourself. That's why she's so unnervingly calm during conflict. She already knows where it's headed. She's not reacting, she's predicting. People often underestimate her because she doesn't expose what she knows right away. But that's what makes her dangerous. She'll let you reveal yourself fully, giving you enough time and comfort to think you're still in control. Meanwhile, she's building a quiet profile in her mind, who you are, what drives you, and where you'll eventually betray yourself. By the time she decides to act, her judgment is surgical, precise, and irreversible. What makes this trait so powerful is that it's rooted in emotional intelligence, not suspicion. She doesn't watch people to control them. She watches to understand them. She studies patterns to protect her peace, to know who's real and who's rehearsed. And when she finally steps back from someone, it's not random. It's because she's already seen the ending, and she doesn't need to stick around for the rerun. Number 10. They don't threaten you loudly. They dismantle you quietly. Sigma females have no interest in proving power through volume. They don't shout, boast, or posture. They shift the atmosphere instead. Their presence alone recalibrates a room. It's not something they try to do. It's something that happens naturally. The way they carry themselves, calm, composed, and unapologetically self-assured, subtly changes how others behave around them. The loud ones start to quiet down. The insecure ones grow uneasy, and the confident ones suddenly find themselves second-guessing their confidence. Without saying a word, she's already altered the hierarchy. Her strength lies in control, not of others, but of herself. While people burn energy trying to assert dominance, the Sigma female conserves hers like a weapon. She knows silence is far more unsettling than noise because it forces others to fill the void with their own insecurities. Her calmness is strategic. It draws truth out of people. When she listens, she isn't being passive. She's observing what everyone reveals when they think no one's challenging them. That's her advantage. She dismantles egos with precision, not through confrontation, but through composure. She won't argue to prove you wrong. She'll let your own contradictions expose you. She doesn't need to humiliate anyone to win. She just waits. Her restraint is unnerving because it exposes how reactive everyone else is. While others lose control, she remains immovable, and that contrast alone asserts dominance more effectively than any outburst ever could. What makes her especially dangerous is how unintentional it seems. She doesn't manipulate energy for attention. She simply operates from a level of awareness that others can't fake. Her confidence is quiet, but it's rooted in certainty, the kind that doesn't require validation to exist. That's why she can walk into a room full of powerful people and somehow make them adjust to her rhythm. It's not magic, it's presence, and presence can't be performed. When a Sigma female decides to dismantle someone, she doesn't need to raise her voice or make threats. She uses stillness as strategy, truth as a mirror, and timing as her weapon. By the time others realize they've lost control of the dynamic, she's already moved on, not triumphant, just composed, leaving behind the quiet chaos of someone who never needed to roar to rule. Number 11. Emotional blackmail. Doesn't work on them. Emotional blackmail is the weapon that works on almost everyone, except the Sigma female. She's mastered emotional detachment, not out of coldness, but out of self-preservation. She's seen too many people weaponize emotion to get their way, so she built immunity to it. You can cry, guilt trip, withdraw affection, or play the victim. It won't move her. Not because she's heartless, but because she can tell the difference between genuine emotion and strategic manipulation. And the moment she senses you're trying to control her through guilt or sympathy, she mentally checks out. Her calmness in those moments is unnerving. While most people would react, defend, or comfort, she just observes, detached, analytical, almost surgical. She doesn't rush to soothe your feelings because she's busy assessing your intent. Are you hurting, or are you performing? Are you being honest, or are you fishing for control? She's learned that not every tear deserves tenderness, and not every silence deserves attention. Her empathy has boundaries, and those boundaries are ironclad. The danger of dealing with a Sigma female is that she won't argue with emotional manipulators. She'll expose them without a single accusation. Her indifference to emotional pressure makes her unpredictable, and manipulators hate unpredictability. They rely on reactions, the panic, the guilt, the desperate reassurance, but she gives them nothing. Just that steady, unshaken look that says, "I see exactly what you're doing." And that's when the power flips. What people don't understand is that emotional blackmail only works on those who crave approval or fear abandonment. The Sigma female fears neither. She's comfortable being misunderstood, and she's perfectly fine being alone. That's why guilt can't trap her. She's not addicted to being liked. When emotional manipulation fails, most people double down. They cry louder, guilt harder, threaten to leave. That's when she becomes completely unreachable. She'll shut the emotional door and never reopen it, because once she sees that someone uses love or pain as currency, she no longer considers them trustworthy. Her emotional detachment isn't a defense mechanism. It's a superpower. It protects her peace, her time, and her energy. And for those who try to control her emotionally, it's terrifying. Because nothing is more frustrating than realizing your manipulation doesn't just fail, it exposes you instead. Number 12. They don't seek revenge, they erase you strategically. When a Sigma female is wronged, she doesn't explode, she exits. No warnings, no grand gestures, no dramatic closure. Just a quiet, surgical disappearance that feels almost ghostly. While others might plot revenge or seek validation through confrontation, she understands the most powerful response is none at all. Revenge requires energy, and she never wastes energy where respect has already died. Her silence does the work for her because it's the kind of silence that echoes in a person's mind long after she's gone. The Sigma female knows that trying to hurt someone back keeps her tied to them, and she refuses to give anyone that kind of emotional power. She doesn't need to win the argument. She just removes herself from the entire game. She knows that nothing dismantles guilt and ego faster than complete erasure. One day you're basking in her warmth, and the next you're talking to a ghost who isn't angry, isn't bitter, just utterly done. That kind of detachment is haunting because it leaves no trace to follow, no emotion to feed on. People who wrong her often expect drama. They're prepared for shouting, accusations, maybe even revenge. But instead, they get the one thing they can't handle: indifference. She doesn't give them the satisfaction of closure or the comfort of knowing she still cares. Her absence becomes their punishment, They start replaying every interaction, every word, trying to figure out what broke her silence, not realizing that she had already made peace with leaving long before they noticed her withdrawal. Her erasure is always strategic. She doesn't block out of impulse, she phases out with precision. First emotionally, then mentally, and finally physically. By the time she walks away, she's already processed everything and feels nothing. That's what makes it so unnerving. Her departure doesn't look angry, it looks finished. To the Sigma female, revenge keeps wounds open. Disappearing closes them. She doesn't need to destroy your reputation or make you regret losing her. Life does that naturally when she's no longer in it. Her silence becomes the mirror where people are forced to face themselves, and that reflection is often far more punishing than any revenge could ever be. In a world that glorifies noise, validation, and conformity, the Sigma female remains a quiet storm, unpredictable, unbothered, and uncontainable. She doesn't demand attention, yet somehow she commands it. Her danger doesn't come from aggression or ego. It comes from awareness. Awareness of who she is, what she deserves, and what she refuses to tolerate. That's what makes her the most dangerous breed, not because she seeks to dominate others, but because she refuses to be dominated by anyone, not even by her own emotions. Every move she makes is intentional. Every silence has weight. Every disappearance has meaning. She doesn't compete, she evolves. She doesn't chase, she attracts. And when she loves, it's real. But when she's done, there's no resurrection. The Sigma female is the kind of woman who terrifies, not because she's cold, but because she's complete. You can't manipulate her, control her, or lure her into the chaos she's already outgrown. She's not trying to be anyone's fantasy. She's too busy being her own reality. What most people never realize is that her power doesn't come from rejecting the world, but from mastering herself. She's walked through rejection, loneliness, and misunderstanding, and instead of becoming bitter, she became bulletproof. Her detachment isn't emptiness, it's clarity. Her solitude isn't isolation, it's sovereignty. And her independence isn't rebellion, it's evolution. The truth is, the Sigma female doesn't want to be feared, but she often is, because she represents something people can't easily control or define. She's living proof that strength can be silent, kindness can have boundaries, and freedom can be found in walking alone. In a world built on emotional dependency, she's the glitch in the system, the one who refuses to play by its rules, yet still wins every game without even trying. If you've ever met a Sigma female, you already know. She doesn't walk into your life to be understood. She walks in to be remembered. And long after she's gone, you'll still feel the echo of her energy, not as noise, but as a reminder of what true independence looks like. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share your thoughts below. Stay tuned for more powerful, brutally honest insights about the Sigma mindset, because the truth doesn't whisper, it resonates.